Elijah, you were surrounded by 10, 15 people?
Yeah, unfortunately, it escalated from one person to about a dozen very, very quickly.
You were obviously punched in the mouth. We can see the effect of that. Your speech is a little weird as usual, or weirder than usual. And sorry to make you laugh and smile. How are you? How are you doing?
You know, I'll tell you this: I'm actually really happy to be alive because in that same shopping center, right there, there was a 15-year-old girl who was shot, according to reports, and I heard multiple gunshots throughout the night. Another individual is reported to have been shot as well. Still trying to confirm. I watched people get pummeled beyond belief, and even another journalist named James Clue, he had to run almost a mile to get away from riders who tried to beat him up because, and I will say this indiscriminately, they were specifically targeting white people last night, and that was who they were after.
Why
And
do you
so,
why do you say
unfortunately,
why do you say that?
because they were only attacking white journalists specifically, and they called me a white supremacist during my attack, and after the fact, they came up to me at another location and called me a white supremacist and started accusing me of things that clearly have no base. And James had a similar interaction. And I'll say this: I was standing next to three different reporters who were also filming, who are all Hispanic, and they decided to only target me, and they let them continue filming. So, the racial slurs and accusations based with the fact they only went after the two white journalists in the group lead me to that conclusion.
And is this why? And I don't want any details on anybody who is working with you. But is this why the camera was not taken? Because they punched you and the camera was rolling and got out.
Yeah, well, that was actually a reporter, Shelby Telcott, who was completely covered up because
Okay.
the Lawyers Guild was looking for her at the other protest, trying to ID her. It's a group that touts themselves as a legal group, but they really try to dox journalists and get.
All right. I don't want to go any farther with that. So that was Elijah Shaffer from the YouTube channel Slightly Offensive. Now, I like Elijah. He's his opinions, he's opinionated, that's for sure. He's conservative. A lot of his views a lot of people don't like. But he's he just seems like one of the more genuinely I don't want to say happy because people can get pretty upset about the way the world is now, and I mean you can't really be happy and be trying to point out how shitty the world is becoming. But he comes off as jovial, and whenever he puts a new video out, I watch it. I haven't missed one. So when I wake up this morning, I see, oh, Slightly Offensive has a video up. What? It's only like 40 seconds or something? That's weird. Let me watch this. Oh, damn. So it's Elijah with his lip busted open, standing out in front of some store, getting a last ditch interview in before he goes off to the hospital because his lip is busted open and split. I'm thinking, man, he put himself in that group again. Um, stuck. And the first thing I thought of was a bunch of crazy white college kids, you know what I mean, dressed in Antifa shit, spotted him and came over and attacked him. But no, this was actually a group of black guys who were like, just get these guys, get that guy and that guy. And that, I recently did a video about Helter Skelter and Charlie Manson's legacy upon our world. Jesus Christ, if anybody gets to leave a legacy upon our world, can it please be Elon Musk and not Charlie Manson? Something that we're going to have to deal with and live up to. Some prophecy will be fulfilled. Well, who wrote it? Jack the Ripper. What? Yeah, so yeah, the world is going, and the prophecy will come to fruition, and the world will change itself according to these dark laws. What the fuck? Yep, that's how it's gonna be. You know, beautiful squares that were once trimmed and cut with flowers, and in the center there's a big statue, and people would stand around, and families would gather and have popsicles. Now are scarred, tattered landscapes with spray paint all over the concrete, where nobody wants to go sit. Nobody wants to utilize the world anymore because the world is becoming a trash can. And let me say, I know I'm a little far into this to say this, but I'm not blaming black people. Okay, I don't think anybody should be to blame for the things that we're seeing. The violence, the protests in certain areas of this country are burning, like Portland, Oregon. They're they're in danger, and the real problem is that mentality is spreading out through the internet. Now, I have mixed emotions about Elijah immediately posting his bloodied face, because the initial post of him standing, and you can see this on his YouTube channel, slightly offensive, with Elijah Shaffer. The initial video is kind of gory on almost. Like, he's the way he's standing there with his lip busted open. Now, in the interview, you see the indignation in his eyes. And his lips busted, yes. But the blood has dried. And the eyes have shadowed over by the time he does this interview. In the initial footage, the eyes are wide with fear. The blood is shining in the street light, or the camera light, or both. Everything is still fresh, and you can really feel the mortality. And in a way, it almost felt like a live leak video. But I'm glad he didn't get, killed. Or, beaten to the point where he had to be taken out of there or couldn't get out of there on his own. I've been in those situations. I grew up in Del Rey, Duke Street. I lived at Southern Towers. Actually, was one of the calmer places I lived, but I got one of the worst beatings there. They chased me down in the snow, because I was a little white boy. And I used to be bold. I used to go try to play ball with them and shit, and bring cigarettes out. And I tried to be one of the crew, and then I tried talking smack, and one starts chasing me, and the next thing you know, everybody's chasing me. And then I got power bombed in the snow. And that was the actually first time somebody hurt me where I thought, man, I might be dead. That's the thing about somebody shooting somebody in a fist fight. Like, a fist fight breaks out and the guy gets shot. That guy might be thinking, hey, what if my head hits the concrete wrong and I die? I had a gun here. I could have shot you and you'd be dead and I wouldn't be dead. But it's a whole nother issue. This is going to be twisted in many different ways by many different people. Some are going to say Elijah shouldn't have been there. Elijah was looking for that ass beating, right? I myself was like, wow, you're going to be doing a lot of interviews. If you actually go look at the post itself, my comment says that. You're going to be doing lots of interviews now. And it wasn't even 15 minutes, 20 minutes before I got another notification. So through him putting it out there, that's going to get it out there to people like me who watch him, who think, oh man, I remember you when you were wearing a American flag romper, running around in a onesie, man, getting interviews with people, looking like a little emo kid sometimes looking like a beach bum, Now you are who you are, sir. Mr. Elijah, if you ever watch this. But one thing you are is a blonde Germanic white male, and I don't know why I say Germanic. I'm Germanic myself, and I'm not blonde or tall or any of the above. But that image is going to have people saying, "Man, look, this guy, target him." It's kind of like Milo Yiannopoulos. Now, Milo dyed his hair blonde and got that image, but what I'm wondering is how many folks have. See, I'm actually glad this is happening now because I know a lot of black people, and I don't think they'd be looting a Five Below and beating up any white person they see. You know, maybe one or two of them. I know a couple people who put up some posts that are questionable. You know, and they're always complaining about this and that and defending the riots and stuff. So, but that's only like two people, you know. And like I said, I don't want to put any kind of blame on any people that for something that happened before, you know. And I myself don't take any responsibility for the slavery thing that happened here in the United States. My family was German and came here, you know, well after the whole slavery thing happened, you know, and I can't even. There's no way to express that though and say that like I don't have nothing to do with that. I came here. That's it. You should be only like racism should be only pointed at the families that propagated it, right? And even then, those families are probably dead. So the racism lies in everybody who still feels angry and just cannot escape the anger. So they keep thinking about race and they keep bringing race up in every situation, and even the most calm, level-headed of my friends will kind of scrunch up when talking about like actual racism and my views on racism. But here's the thing, my views on racism and their views on racism are different, right? Me and like Virtue or Jahan, me and Israel, one of my other guests on here, but we have a bond and we're friends. So it doesn't matter that you have different views on the history or the implications or what should be done. What matters is after everything happens, if there is some kind of a war, a helter skelter happens in this country, what if this country implodes itself? And you know, it's going to be its own kids doing it because they're being militarized in the schools, right? BLM would not have as many little white kid supporters as it does if the schools hadn't softened them up first. The kids would be listening to their parents and doing whatever, you know, but I'm not saying there wouldn't be revolution, they just wouldn't have so many, you know? And I mean, honestly, like I'm to the point now where I just don't even, I don't, I don't feel like I can just sit back and say nothing anymore. So yeah, I try to make most of my videos kind of just carefree or just about getting smacked or this or that. But when I start seeing that people are targeting whites now in specific areas, so what that makes me want to do is go to those areas. That's what I want to do. I want because I already know you're allowed to have protection, the type of protection that I would be bringing with me, I can bring, and I dare anybody to try to come out after me. And some people say, "Hey, man, provocation is wrong, right?" But aren't you just digging for the snakes? Like you can't stand seeing it anymore. You don't have anything like holding you back from going and doing whatever you want to do. So You go there, and then like certain people who are just sick in the head attack you, and then you fucking teach them a lesson. These are just fantasy. This is just fantasy talk. It's just, it's something that you would think to do, and that's what a lot of these people are thinking to do. Like a lot of kids out there now, and it's not just white kids. There are black conservatives. There are Spanish conservatives. Well, it would be redundant to say there are Asian conservatives. You know what I mean? Like, but let me tell you, man, when an Asian chick goes liberal, boom! That's probably the worst thing I could have ever said. The worst thing. Why? Because I am a white male. I am a straight white male. So I should have no say. Right? Well, it's too bad because I have one of the biggest mouths ever. And I always talk about everything. And guess what? Now I can just put a video up on the fucking internet, and then it's there forever. Unless they take it down. Then I put it up somewhere else. Then it's there forever. Unless they take it down. Then I put it up somewhere else. And it's there forever. Unless